Hello, my friends. I'm glad to be with you, and thank you so much for being here and watching this video. I appreciate your time. If you're here from TikTok, welcome back. If you're new here, please subscribe to this channel. I try to give updated news, what's going on in the Middle East. I always try to give my opinion, of what's happening and some common sense analysis of what's happening. So you might find that interesting. Please join this channel, subscribe. My friends, by going over some news of what's happening, it seems to me Trump is living a nightmare right now. And to be honest, I'm afraid he might make some decisions that can have some really bad, serious consequences. He's lost. He doesn't know what to do with Iran. If you remember, a few days ago, he said a deal was imminent, and the Iranians agreed all to my terms, and the Iranians are begging to speak to me. They don't want to be hit. All this is available on video, my friends. I'm not making this up. He said they're dying to make a deal with me. They don't want to be hit again, and he's trying to show himself as a victor, as someone who's in control of things and leading the action. And now we know he's not. In fact, he's really struggling with this decision. There's no deal with Iran, and the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. He's having a tough time agreeing to Iran's demands to open the strait. And Iran told him, you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4 before we can open the Strait of Hormuz. And if he agrees to the deal, as I said before, it's going to be the end of him politically. That's why he's struggling with that decision. And he also doesn't know what to do with the war in Yemen, between Yemen and Saudi Arabia, and between the Yemenis themselves. He doesn't know what to do there. It seems to be getting worse. He lost all his credibility in the Gulf with all these Gulf states. Now they're trying to forge their own security arrangements because they know, they are convinced now that Trump is not able to protect them. That's why we saw this defense pact that was signed in Mecca the other day between Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Turkey. Even he lost control over his baby Israel. The Israelis are telling him, we don't accept your 15-point plan for Gaza. And they said publicly they are not going to withdraw from the newly seized land in Syria and Lebanon. They said that publicly. And the Israelis are building a huge military base just meters from the Egyptian border. I don't know what they want. They want to start something with Egypt now to build a base so close to the border. I don't know. But Egypt, of course, is not liking that. And there is some talk, Egypt might end up joining this pact that was signed in Saudi Arabia. And if this happens, my friends, that will be truly a very formidable alliance there. 4 huge, big countries, each in its own way. Pakistan has the nuclear weapons, Saudi Arabia has the money, Turkey has the industrial, they make pretty decent weapons. And Egypt has, numbers, they have the Suez Canal, they have a strong army too, and they're very close to Israel. So every country is valuable in its own way in this pact. And this will be dangerous for the Israelis because it will definitely stop Israel in its tracks when it comes to expansion and realizing the dream of Greater Israel, or whatever they want to call it. This will not be allowed. With this pact, it's impossible for Israel to expand and do whatever they want to do. Another indication of this administration helplessness and just disarray, the condition it's in, is the explosion that took place between Trump and Pete Hegseth, his Secretary of the War, in Camp David when they met the other day. They had a shouting match, and Trump seems to blame Hegseth for the mess. He says, "You put us in a mess." You put the U.S. in a mess. And at one point, he asked the secretary to actually leave the room. I would not be surprised if Trump replaces this guy pretty soon, because they're just not seeing eye to eye. And you from day one, this guy is not qualified to lead a strong military like the U.S. military. And now he's showing it, So Trump is starting to play the blame game now. He's blaming others for America's mess in the Middle East. And I don't think the American people are going to buy that. They're not going to forgive him. You are at the top of the decision-making process, and all decisions, final decisions, come to you, and you approved every one of them. And so you can't blame others for this mess. You need to take responsibility and blame yourself. Frankly, my friends, I think this is the worst position for anybody to be in, the worst position for anybody to lead anything or anybody, not to mention leading a nation of 340 some million people like the U.S. This president is really taking America down a rabbit hole right now. And him and another lost soul, Netanyahu, they started these fires in the Middle East, and now they don't seem to know how to put them out, or even to run away from them. I hope to see you next time.